Hello everyone and welcome to today's painting. So first I'm going to grab white. My white is a little bit contaminated by pink. That's okay. It's kind of work out because I do want to mix a little bit of pink into this. So my boy's already contaminated, so I don't have to do that. But if you're watching this and your white is out of the tube, just mix a little bit of pink or red, very light, just to make them, yeah, like this. Thank you. And I'm gonna go in and add this at the top of the page. So this will be like kind of like our cloud color, very light. Okay, now I'm going to add some cobalt blue to this mixture. Actually, I'm going to add ultramarine blue and more white. When you add white to ultramarine blue, you can kind of get a very light blue, but also a little bit purple shade to it. If I want to add some more white to this, I want to make it to be even lighter than what we have right now. And I'm just kind of filling the top part where we didn't put down the light pinkish color, and just fill that up with this blue. Doing a little bit more white to this mixture. And just kind of blend things in. I'm gonna add a little bit more pink to this. A little bit of that was primary red, but because I have so much white on the palette, it just looked kind of pink. Adding a little bit water to this. Kind of blend everything in. So now I'm gonna add some dark green color for the grass or the plant and the flower at the bottom. So I'm gonna start with indigo. Use this new well that we have. Adding a little bit of water. I'm gonna add black to this. to kind of get like a grayish blue. And then we're gonna add yellow. It's this mixture. More black. More water. That's a little bit more black. And some more indigo. More black. I want it to be relatively dark. More indigo. A little bit more black. We're gonna add yellow to make the green color, so it will line this up. So I want to make it kind of dark right now. Okay, so now I'm adding primary yellow to this. Adding a little bit more indigo to this mixture. More black. Is that lemon yellow instead of primary yellow? So I want it to be darker than that. I think I'm running a little low on black. Grab some more black to this. Adding some water. Grabbing a little bit more yellow. And some more indigo. And I'm going to add this color at the bottom of the page. And I'm just going to cover this whole area with this color. Add a little bit more water. So I do want to layer this. So I want to make it slightly thinner than this. I do want it to cover all the white part of the paper though. So I do not want it to be too thin, but I want it to be slightly thicker. I want it to be thin enough so we can actually layer it later on. Adding a little bit of texture on the bottom page. Just like tapping my brush. A little bit on the side too, because we're not using tape. So I don't want the side to be just completely straight line. Now at the top, I'm gonna make my brush kind of vertical and do the same thing. I'm gonna tap a little bit at the top there, just so the transition, like we can kind of imagine there's some grass there. It's not just a straight line transition between where our grass ends and where the sky started. And just make them at kind of different height so they don't look the same. Alright, want to make that area slightly darker, so I'm going to add some black and a little bit more indigo. A little bit more black. I'm going to add some of this color down here. Let's add some of that up top here too. All right. We do want to wait for that bottom part to dry before we add more stuff on top of it. But in the meantime, we can kind of add some stem that going into the sky, because I think the sky part is pretty, yeah, it's pretty dry right now. So I'm gonna grab a smaller and more detailed brush. And we're gonna use the same color that we already have here. Let's add a little bit more. So I'm adding indigo again, black. And let's just grab some of the citrus green here. And or emerald green. And a little bit of primary yellow. Some more primary yellow. Emerald green is pretty dry, so I'm going to add some water droplet onto this to wet it a little bit. Okay, so with this color, I'm going to add some stem from the bottom to the sky. So along with the stem, I'm going to add some leaf along them. And some at the top. And make sure that you kind of vary the height of these stems. It's not all of them gonna be the same height. I'm gonna add a little bit more black to this. Actually, I'm gonna add a little bit more primary yellow. Now let's add a little cadmium red actually, so make it slightly warmer. Adding a little bit more black to this. And again, you see like most of my stem are not the same height, and they also don't point to the same direction. It's kind of try to make them as random and chaos as possible. It should be more stuff at the bottom where the sky meet all these plants, and there should be a little bit less things as we get higher into the sky. So now we're going to use the same color and just extend some of this stem down here as the bottom part is starting to become drier. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm just adding some stem and then some leaf along the stem. Now it's a little bit hard to see. I'm going to try to adjust the color and the light on my camera afterward, but you can see some of this brush stroke better. But essentially I'm just doing the same thing that we've been doing upstairs. whatever we did up here, we're just going to do the same thing down here, but let's make them slightly bigger, that's all. I'm adding some of this leaf stroke on the border here. So again, so that it doesn't look like our painting just kind of stopped right here. I'm just pretty much doing the same thing. It's just that the leaf that I add are slightly bigger down below here. And a little bit more chaos, like I'm adding them from a lot more direction. So here you can see that most of the leaf are just kind of pointing upward like this. But down here I'm gonna add them pointing downward too and to the side. Like this one. Okay. We're gonna add some emerald, I think, verdian, emerald green. It's this mixture that we already have, adding a little bit of primary yellow to this. Some more emerald green. If you don't have emerald green, let's just mix it with cobalt blue, or phthalo blue would work too. I'm gonna add some lemon yellow back to this. So it's a lighter color, so when we put it down, hopefully it will stand out a little bit more. You can see it a little bit better. Yep. You can see it better. And we're gonna do the same thing, just adding some stem, and then along those stem adding some leaf. Kind of connect some of these to the stem up top here that we already have. Yeah, it's just to make things look complex and kind of chaotic. And the way you do that is just to add random stem and leaf from a lot of different directions. There's no order or anything that connect any of these stuff. Just add them randomly throughout this whole area. and have some of them going over the other. You can see I'm just adding all of these randomly everywhere. We want to make it look like there's just a lot of stuff down here. Right. So now we're gonna make this color lighter, and as we go lighter and lighter, we're gonna add less and less thing, and our brush stroke will be a little bit more intentional, because right now, I mean, you just see like there's a bunch of green and leaf, but as you line this up, those will be the highlight, and the focus will shift to this new stem that we're gonna add. So you wanna pay a little bit more attention to them. I'm gonna add a little bit water to some of my color here. They're a little too dry. Adding some light green. And I'm gonna do the same thing, just adding some stem and leaf, but I'm gonna add less of those. And make them look a little prettier. Still want to add a lot of these, but we want to make them just, a little more, give them a little bit more care. But keep the randomness, so don't have all of them going on the same direction, don't have all of them the same length. Just want it to be prettier, but kind of keep a little bit of the chaotic. So connect some of it to the stem. We already have it up top. So everything look a little bit more cohesive. Adding some of this lighter color up top here too. Not too much though, just a little bit. Right. So now we're gonna go in with our flowers, and it's going to be yellow. So I'm just using this new whale here. I'm adding primary yellow to this. And a little bit of lemon yellow. And we're gonna add a little burnt sienna to this. Okay, and we're gonna start adding this color. Just adding some of this, a lot of this flowers all around the place. I'm gonna add a little bit more burnt sienna to this. A little bit more primary yellow. Some more burnt sienna. Some more primary yellow. I'm gonna add this up top here too. It's pretty much like all over the place. and have some of them spread out. Like this one kind of have each of the petals spreading out, and have some of them kind of, you know, the one that haven't bloomed yet, just grouped together like that. And if you can, try to add these like at the top of each of this random stem that we kind of add in the previous step. Also varying the size of each of these. Don't make them all the same. Have some of them bigger, some of them smaller. Yeah, I'm still adding more flower because I think flower is like the main part of the painting. So I want there to be a lot of them. But again, make sure that they are kind of random, varying in size, shape, and where they are. Because seeing in nature, you rarely see anything that are, like symmetric or perfectly balanced or like a pattern. They're usually pretty random. Anything that are look intentional, it's usually like you have some human like human effect action on it, like like landscaping. Even though like those flowers kind of grow on their own, but people kind of arrange them to grow in a certain way. But in the wild, yeah, they just kind of everywhere. That's what we're trying to replicate here. I think that's enough. So now we're going to make the yellow lighter. So I'm just gonna add more primary yellow to this and more lemon yellow. Now we're gonna add some white to this mixture. Mix it up. And we're gonna go back in some of these flowers we already add and put this lighter color. Let's add a little bit more primary yellow. I do want it to be relatively warm. When you add white to yellow, you kind of desaturate it and make it cooler. I'm gonna add a little bit more primary yellow to this. For some of the one that hasn't bloomed yet, I usually add this highlight at the top. And for the one that already spread out, I kind of just go over each of the petal and just add this color on top while not covering, just like a slight. So that added on the layer that we already had before, but shift it like to the side a little bit so you don't cover the previous color. She only covered like half of what was there. Right, and we're gonna add a little bit of red to this. Let's grab this. I'm gonna add a little bit up there. I'm gonna add some cadmium red to this to get kind of like an orange color. And we're gonna use this color for the middle of some of this flower. Let's make this up. A little bit water. So I'm adding this kind of where only for the flower that are already spread out. It's only those you can see the middle part. I'm gonna add a little bit more cadmium red to this. You would not see this on those flowers that are still kind of not open yet. But if you're looking at them from a different angle, I'm gonna actually use this green we have. Let's add a little bit of black to this, and let's add a little bit of indigo. And for some of this, I'm gonna add just a little green here, so so that it connects to the flower, the stem to the flower a little bit better. And I'm gonna add some of the stem for the flower that I don't see only have the stem. Adding some more leaf like right underneath these flowers. Add a little bit of leaf green back to this. A little bit of white. Okay, we're gonna go in with burnt sienna, add it to this well right here. That's not really well. Add it to the dark, the red part that we already have here, the dark red oranges. And we're gonna add this color right at the bottom of the center flower that we just added, just to add a little bit shadow to those. Add a little bit more burnt sienna to this, and let's grab a little ultramarine blue. Let's darken this. A little bit more cadmium red back. Don't want to darken it too much. Yep, just add this dark color right at the bottom of some of these center that we have. Gonna add some primary yellow here, line it up a little bit, and some more cadmium red. And I want to add a little bit more highlight on the flower, so let's just add white to this well. primary yellow. Add some more white. I want it to be lighter than that. I'm just going in adding a little bit more highlight to the flower that we have here. Add some primary yellow up here. I just want to make it a little bit more saturated. So actually, let's just add primary yellow to this new well. And I'm just going to kind of use this. And add this to the flowers to make them slightly more saturated than what they are right now. And last but not least, we're going to use this color, this dark color, mixing this in with the yellow to get a slightly darker yellow. And we're going to use this to add a little bit more definition to some of the petal here. Use this to add, separate some of the petal a bit better. Adding a little bit red to this. I'm gonna add one more petal on this flower. Alright, let's add a little bit more highlight on some of this flower by adding white to this. I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow back. It's just a little too desaturated. Adding a little bit more primary yellow here. All right, and I think we're done. On to the next one.